Bret mentioned soft tissue, something with Brandon's back yesterday, and had a procedure. When might you get him back?
We're hoping to get him back, sometime later this week. Here it is Thursday. We'll find out what he can do this afternoon. We haven't met yet, but hopefully get him back either today or tomorrow. I'd love to give him an opportunity to go in the scrimmage if he's capable of going. But we want to be cautious with it because we know we're going to need him in the long run. Kind of like Jared, we're not going to force those guys to come back too early. So we'll see, after this meeting this afternoon where we are.
I know every day is important in the evaluation period, but when a scrimmage rolls around, does it shine? And the fans are going to be at this one too, a little more important for your guys?
Not really. The thing that I think we try and harp on is their opportunity to be out in front of fans. Not that makes a big difference, but the lights do come on when there are people sitting in the stands, and hopefully we can go out and do some good things. But the thing I'm looking for is the continued progress, the continued ability to get better, and if we do that, that's all that matters to me.
This has been an incredibly mild August. I mean, unbelievably. Is there a bit of you that's like, you like it, but you also know there's going to be hot days?
There's no doubt about it. Yesterday was probably the hottest day we had, and to be honest with you, I can see some of the effects of it. We looked a little sluggish late in the practice. So, my thing with my guys is to challenge them to condition themselves, when they're away from us, so they're in a type of shape, because we know when September comes around it's going to be hot. Every home opener we've had since I've been here has been ridiculously hot, and I know Herb and his staff are doing a good job of trying to keep the guys in shape, and we do practice long. We're gonna get it out of them. So the conditioning aspect, I don't have a concern about, but as far as the temperature, I do.
Thank you.
If you were to line up 4 guys right now with the season starting, what guys are you putting out there right now based on how they've been performing?
Without TJ and J-Red in the mix, it would probably be LaMichael, Dion, Jonathan Nance, and toss up between Coylan, Tobias, and Gary Cross right now.
The interesting part of that is a lot of names these Arkansas fans don't know, but I know you know them well, and you've said before that you're not worried about your room at all. What are we going to expect from such young, talented guys this year?
I'm just hoping that everybody expects that these guys are going to come out and perform the way the guys in the past have performed. Now, that's big shoes to fill, but we have high expectations for them. I just want them to be consistent. I want them to go out and have fun, play the game. It's still football. They're going to be underneath a little bit different pressure, but just go out and do what you're capable of doing. Don't try and be somebody else. And if they go out and do that, again, we'll be fine.
Coach talked about kind of combating that inexperience with putting the pressure on them during practice and in fall camp. How have those young guys like Coylan and Gary and Tobias really responded to that?
I think they responded well. Again, they're not where we want them to be because, practice is totally different from game situations. But, we try and put them in those situations as much as possible. And I think, through the process of this camp, they've shown that they're capable of handling it. And we just got to continue to put them in those situations and make it as game-like as we possibly can. And if we continue to do that, these guys are going to perform well on Saturday.
When you've talked to Jared, how eager is he to get back out there? And I know patience is a virtue, but I'm sure that he's ready to get out there.
He's ready. It's funny you say that. We spoke last night on my way home, and he's like, Coach, I haven't been on the field since spring, and he really wasn't on the field in the spring, and he's ready to get back at it. He's chomping at the bits. The thing that, the positive thing about it is Jared's had a lot of time to sit and evaluate not only himself but the other guys that are going right now. And, he's like a second coach in the room for me. He like, Coach, hey, such and such needs to work on this. And we talk about things like that. So he's real anxious to get back. He's real anxious just to be back around his teammates.
Unfortunately, in our profession, we want those kids to play
right away. and it just doesn't happen like that, you know. And the guys that do that are pretty special players. Not saying none of these kids are special players, but I kind of let my receivers know our starting quarterback didn't play till he was a junior, you know. And I don't want them to get the unfair evaluation because they've been in the program for 3 years. I mean, Michael Petway was behind some really, really good wide receivers here at Arkansas, and 4 of them are in the NFL right now.
You mentioned guys not playing until they're juniors, but is Coylan, for a while, is Coylan putting himself in a position where he's going to contribute? Probably?
Yes, I totally believe so. I think Coylan's come in and had a good camp. Needs to continue to learn it and become more consistent, but he's definitely put himself in a position to play this year.
Gerard Barnes came from a triple option style offense. What adjustments has he had to make, especially now going from quarterback to wide receiver?
Just the nuances of playing out there in space. You know, I think Gerard has always been the most dominant athlete on the field when he's played, and I think he's realizing that there's guys at this level that can play also. But the biggest adjustment is just learning how to play the receiver position. You know, the thing that I liked about him and loved about him when we were recruiting him is that he always had the ball in his hand. So to have the ball in his hand, that was natural. He catches the ball very natural. He's got great hips and great feet. So if I can develop him from a technique standpoint of playing the wide receiver position, he's going to be lights out.
Outside of Jared, you really don't have any guys with true game experience. What are you doing to get these guys ready?
Just coaching the way I always have, being hard on them, trying to get those guys to understand that, you know, when we go out there on Saturday, it's real, you know, and we got to treat Monday through Friday like it's real. And these kids have responded well. You know, we've made a lot of progress from day one, and I'm excited to watch them this Saturday in the scrimmage and go see what they can do.
Most coaches love competition. The fact that you've got a lot of guys that are competing for all these spots, what does that do for your group?
It's just going to make us better. You know, when you have that type of depth, it's you know, and I still talk about last year because of the depth that we had last year. It helps out. You go back to 2 years ago when we had all those injuries. The depth that we had in our room helped us become the receiving corps we became. And I think it's a great thing for me because I can always reflect back on that as a coach. But these players that are now here can also see that and know how important it is to be ready when your number's called.
At the beginning of fall, Coach B kind of called out the veteran wide receivers. Have you seen them step up any more since that?
Yes. I mean, they accepted the challenge. It was rightfully so for Coach to call them out, call me out as a coach. We accepted that challenge, and I believe we made tremendous progress, and I'm happy with the way we're going right now.
Since the start of fall camp, has there been any guys that have just truly impressed you, whether it be from spring to fall or just newcomers into the fall?
I would say you know, and people, well, Coach is ripping him all the time. I'm impressed with what LaMichael Petway has done. I mean, he does. He has that one mistake that you go, what are you doing, Mike? But he continues to come out and work, and he's trying to get better. And that's the thing that, as a coach, you have to ask your kids. Just try and come out here and get better. Try and become consistent. Do I want him to be more consistent? Yes. Love the way he's approached it. Love Deion Stewart's approach to where we are now, especially, you know, from where he was early in his career. These guys are growing up, and they're out in the spotlight. They're the guys out there taking the reps. They're not sitting watching other guys, and they're getting better.
Speaking of LaMichael, just personally, since he's gotten here, how have you seen him grow?
I think he's grown in the fact that he's studying more about the game and the wide receiver position. You know, Mike loves football, always has loved football, but you know, now he comes into the office and he's asking the right questions. You know, he's asking, you know, Coach, how do I set this guy up to get open on this route? You know, what coverage do you want to run this scheme against? You know, he's asking those questions. He's becoming more of a student of the game.